G'day, welcome back to Project Brupeg, story of a sunken fishing trawler converting into a global expedition and research boat. We're getting really close to launch now, so we need to get some storage into our engine room so our tools don't go flying around. When we were at the scrapyard recently, Jess found some awesome aluminium drawers. Trev's been cleaning them up and giving them a recondition. Me and Jess get into it, modify them and get them stuck into the engine room. Oh yeah, and we fixed the audio problem. Let me show you how we solved that. Last couple of episodes we've had a few issues with our audio and things like that. I actually wanted to show you what was going on and what our solution is to that. This group of parts is our main camera rig. So we've been using this for about 9 months now. So it's a Canon 90D. It's a pretty good quality DSLR camera. We've got a 10 to 22 wide angle lens and a, what's this one? This is 18 to 135 lens, now zoom lens. Now this is really great for getting close up sort of zoom shots on the drill press, and this is really good for showing like a wide angle of lots of stuff going on. We have quite a few batteries. That's enough to get us through one day, and they all have to be charged every day in order to keep running. And we have 2 microphones. So we've got a fluffy mic, get rid of that, it's a little GoPro 5 danger cam. So fluffy mic, which is a stereo mic, and then a shotgun mic, which is kind of the predominant one we use. Now that camera took a big hit on the roof the other day, fell over and smashed really hard onto some steel. It broke the 3.5mm plug on the mic, and then the following day did the same thing with this one and basically smashed these plugs. So we had those repaired thinking that that was the problem. It wasn't. What actually was the problem, on the side of the camera you got the 3.5mm plug. That plug itself has actually died. It was pushed over, something's obviously, connections come loose inside, and the camera itself isn't allowing any signal through this port and to be recorded. So it's only actually recording on the built-in internal mic, which is pretty rubbish. So that camera has done really well for us, but it's going to be replaced. What we've upgraded to is this. So it's a Sony A7 S2, and it's quite a nice wide angle lens. So this is a full frame mirrorless camera. The lens itself is a beautiful lens, really good for low light, etc. And instead of using shotgun mics like these guys, we're using Rode Go wireless mics. So we've got 2 receivers and 2 of these little lapel mics, wireless lapel mics. Battery wise, rather than having 150,000 batteries per day, we've upgraded. So we're using these sort of things here. So it's just a 10,000 milliamp battery pack, and that plugs into the side just through a port in the side of the camera here, and that allows charge to basically feed in. Normally the batteries on these cameras only last about 40 minutes when you're recording in 4K, but with these battery packs you can get sort of 6 hours, 8 hours roughly out of each one. So 2 of those gets us through a day quite easily, and we have a pretty hardcore custom mount. So on the side of our tripod, let me see if I can position this out. Right, it sits like that, and then obviously just you got your power cord and everything dangling out of it. Now that's all getting upgraded as well. I'm putting a roll cage on this, so aluminium cage that goes around the whole thing. Things will bolt to it, so batteries will be mounted on the side like so, plugged in, etc. And then a battery, instead of using the power port on the side, we're going to be using a dummy battery that powers from these battery packs directly into the camera's receptacle, and we can run, yeah, basically like that for probably 6 or 8 hours recording. In case you're wondering, that's a lot of expensive camera gear on that table. There's no way that we could afford to buy that gear. We don't buy our camera gear, we actually rent it. And there's like an insurance plan, so if there's any sort of damage done to the cameras and so on, it's covered on insurance. But yeah, there's just no way that we would be able to allocate the amount of funds that it would take to get that gear if we were to buy it. And also, I don't want to spend lots of money on camera gear. We've got a lot of boat to build, and it would, in a way, it would be irresponsible for us to spend our Patreon's money on cameras when they're paying for the boat to be built. So that's one of the reasons why we rent, is just so that we can get better value for money for everybody that supports us.
Dan spent quite a bit of time playing around with the Sony after changing over from Canon, and it really is quite a different level of focus and clarity. So quite amazing.
There we go, autofocus, that's better. Right. Something out there, something in there, it's just lovely light.
We've been working inside sort of a directive, what we call dump and run, which is to do the minimum to get this huge boat in the water and doing projects and travelling and have a crew on board and volunteers. And of course with COVID sort of going through the world, everything changed. We had to slow down. So what should have been us in the water for quite some time now is us just about to get in the water. So we're doing okay. The timeline that we had was, with a certain amount of volunteers and my health being sustained at the level it was, and of course I had a real downturn. So the last 6 months has been getting me to appointments with specialists and getting me to the hospital and trialing new medications and coping, just trying to get through every day. And I've had a major breakthrough with my health, which I'm very proud of. And I'm doing really, really well, and my energy is getting better every week. Something we did not expect. So I suppose you could call that a miracle. And really, it was me getting really, really quiet in myself and talking to the right people and investigating the right research projects and papers from around the world. And luckily I found one out of Harvard University that hit the spot. But for those of you who don't really know much about the project, maybe you haven't had a chance to get through all the episodes, or it's a lot to take in. We're not in your normal boat build in that we're not stopping building when we're in the water. We're a project boat, so we got the boat when it was a stripped out hull. It had been sunk in a storm in 2013, and we'd been looking for a big, strong trawler for quite a long time. It's a passion for me since I was 6. I've wanted to travel and work and live on a trawler-sized boat. Luckily, hubby was into it as well, so we ended up with this amazing boat. The bow is a very specific build on this trawler. It's for going through bars. We want to be able to tackle crossings and difficult waters when we need to. Apparently it moves beautifully in the water, can cut through waves really, really beautifully, and it's very economical. The only thing with this boat is it's a little bit tippy if you put too much up top, weight-wise. Hence, stabilisers went on, and we're doing everything we can to keep the weight in the bottom of the boat. So projects can be anything from having to take the back of the boat off to taking a hole out of the side of the boat, building a jet dinghy or whatever, enabling drones to launch from the top of our roof, or having large numbers of research people or photographers or media or whatever it is on board. So it's going to be really interesting. We consider ourselves a non-political boat. We're not interested in any dramas. We want to just get on with doing some good in the world and keep very focused on what we're doing. We don't like getting sidetracked by anyone or anything. It's one of the rules that we have. We have a code we live by. We call it the code. And it's 9 points, and we live by that code. So, engineering on the hard stand here in the yard, we've been doing that, and it will continue when we're in the water. We're hoping we'll get a week off when we first splash. We'll float around and do some trials, have an easy week, and maybe sleep in, but that'd be great. But then, second week, we're straight into the next build. So, big builds, we're going to create the boat so that we can do big builds, big engineering projects on board. People have offered us their garages and their workspaces for other parts of the projects that we'll need to do. So we'll be travelling around the world, dropping in on people. We'll be doing meetups around the world. We'll let you know our itinerary and where we are. Hopefully a new COVID world will allow for that, but we'll work around everything we can to make that possible, staying within keeping everyone well and healthy and safe. But we don't like to get stopped by anything, which you may have gathered by now. So I'm going to get back to editing the next episode. We got the drawers in the downstairs engine bay, so I can start clearing out that space. We've got a lot of tools to organise and put in there, a lot of storage that needs to be organised on the boat. Everything needs to be tied down before we splash. And we've got 3 major projects that we're finishing off. So it's the stabilisers, the exhaust fuel system motor, and the kitchen, and that includes the front tanks. We've got to finish off some work on the front tanks, and then there's little jobs, lots of little jobs that we'll do, but we're only doing what we have to on the hard stand. And of course the hull. Bruce is coming 2 days from now. Woohoo! That's the wonderful welder here in Bundaberg, who's been doing some work for us on the boat. He's an amazingly skilled guy and got some great equipment. And he's going to be doing a couple of big jobs on the hull. One which we found and we didn't realise was so extensive, so we'll talk to you about that in the next episode.
So we're doing a clean up The back has been covered in stuff for weeks now. What our plan is, months, years, yep. We've got our new inverter over there, massive beast that it is. This is the box it came out of. This is our parts relocation system. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff that's been sitting up here for maybe 2 years, that we're just, actually going through and deciding what we're keeping. And then same deal down in the workshop. We're doing a spring clean there so that we can start building stuff more effectively.
Well, we're on to that stage of the build where we're almost going to launch, so like months away, you know, so we've got to get this stuff sorted out. We're putting the shelves into the engine bay today, hopefully, building a nice big chunky bracket out of stainless, and we'll take that up and get that in. So we'll be able to put some of the power tools in there and a few other things. But we've got to clear the space because we've got to do the kitchen next weekend. We start that, so we're going to be living in this little space here, and everything has to be stripped out so we can do all the walls, we can do the final painting, any blasting that we need to do, replace some of the ribs in the front rooms. So we'll probably be in here for 2 weeks because we've got to do all the work, and then we've got to paint, and then we've got to off gas, so it takes about 2 weeks to fully off gas. So we're going to be using the space for everything other than tools for a while, so hence the tools are going down the bottom.
So down the bottom, these are going in the engine bay today. We still haven't got the new lock doohickeys, but the drawers lock with the sliders, so that'll do for now, and then we'll order the new latches. They're $70 each, but I found the price, I found the place that makes them, but I don't know how to buy them yet because I got no buy them now option type thing on their website. So this is a box of parts that was sitting up on the rear deck that needs to be sorted. This is our workshop. It's a bit of a bomb site. There's tools everywhere, just random work that's been happening. We've just been dumping tools on workbenches knowing that we'll tidy it up at some point. Well, that's the point that we're at today. So what I'm planning, because I've been able to get rid of almost all of the diesel out of the IBC that was there was another one beside it through our little filter over the back there. What I'm planning is to move half of the workshop into this space because it's really dry space, but it's also going to give us a bit more room in the metal bench area here to be able to just swing tools and do whatever we need to do. As evidenced by the rubbish outside of the workshop, I've managed to clean the workshop out. We have a lot of space now, well, comparatively. Workbench is still a mess, we'll get there, but we've got our all of our consumables, grinding and sanding stuff, drills, mag drill hammers. Finally got a nice tidy drill press. We've got all of our welding gear, chemicals, socket sets, all that sort of stuff over the back, some spare grinders, masks, pumps, hole saws, all that sort of carry on. But we have a bit more space over here as well, which is quite nice, so it means that we can start assembling things and welding things in a slightly less windy environment, so we'll be able to use that space behind us. And also we have nothing under the bench, so we'll be able to start putting some of our bigger tools, like obviously the 9-inch and the drop saw and things like that. Previously we had all our consumables under here, and it was kind of a pain because every time we did anything it used to fall straight into the bucket of consumables. Jess has been working on the rear deck out here. So one of the shelves that I had used to be stacked over in the corner of the boat, as you can tell by the disgusting mess on the side of the boat there. This is the axle that I'm building for Jess's wheelchair, off-road wheelchair 2.0. Still playing around with that idea. It has disc brakes now. But Jess yelled out and said food's on, so hello cat, bye cat. Hello.
Hello.
Yummy. That was obviously prepared earlier. Oh yeah. How you going?
Good.
Something we have been doing, you see on the roof, we've started drawing lines everywhere. That's where cable tray is going to go. If I nip into this room, you can see we've got runs along that top edge of the roof, sort of up in this area all the way down, and then down the wall. And if I spin round, same deal over here, and we've got darting left and right, etc. The cable tray that we use is like a galvanized steel tray, and it's varying width. So we have 150 millimeters for like the main backbone going down the center line of the roof, and then we have 75 millimeter tray, width tray that darts off left and right, and that goes into the rooms and carries various things. So we do run the same tray for AC and DC wiring. Now I know some people are going to freak out about that, but we separate it, one on the left, one on the right. It's not really that big a deal because most of our DC wiring is very, very low. It's only 12 volt and it's only for lights. So yeah, it's not really, we don't ever notice any flickering or anything like that. It's never been an issue for us. One thing we do try and separate though is data. So we always try and keep our data cabling, at least 150 or 200 millimeters away from any other electricity, whether it's DC or AC. I think you can have it next to DC from memory, but you can't have it next to AC. But again, because I'm a bit patchy on that, I just keep it away from all power cables. Just makes our data connection a bit better. This is the sort of thing that we end up with, is like basically a nice crisp tray with sort of lovely organisation of our cables.
And just while we're here, I'm cooking lunch, there's a few people that are kind of curious about how we eat. So I thought I'd let you know. If you head straight down, you can see that's Dane's lunch. We're kind of on what's called a paleo diet, which is as little carbohydrate as we can get away with, and lots of healthy meat and veg and fruit and nuts and stuff like that, with the odd chocolate cake thrown in, pizza when absolutely necessary for medicinal purposes. And that's Dane, he's a meat eater, and I'm pretty much just a vegetarian, almost vegan, and that's just because of my health. I can't process much protein and fat, so my body doesn't handle it. So I'm on a really restricted diet, but I'm doing really well. I'm able to eat a lot these days, so yeah, we're pretty healthy, I suppose.
Part of getting these drawers into Brupeg is giving them a good cleanup. So we use an acid and it takes the oxidization off the surface of the aluminium. It's never going to come up absolutely perfect and brand new. These are old drawers that we found at the scrapyard, but they're going to be more than enough for what we need in the engine room.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is if we can get them as low as possible, we'll clear that.
How far from the batteries is it?
We can pretty much go down beside the batteries.
No way. So it's going to fit really well.
It just depends on the ribs. That's all good.
Geez, they're great drawers, aren't they? That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be great. My only concern is that if we can resolve that, it's sweet.
So how far that way can you go?
Well, depends on what I do with the batteries. I was thinking of making them double layer because I need to put 2 batteries in, and at the moment I've just got them jimmied in there. But I was thinking one on top of the other.
Oh, no, look at that. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
We can come my way a couple of inches, probably.
And just move the batteries if need be.
Yeah, and make a bracket for that to sit one on top of the other, and it should be, because this could go over that far, and I can come over slightly this way as well. Depends, like the other idea is go low, and then the top would be lower than that lid.
The issue is a big shelf here,
Yeah.
or just leave it like that. You can make the shelf that maybe that much more, couldn't you, if you drop down?
Yeah. Which
an incredible shelf.
Which could work, and we could put dividers off these.
Yeah, and just like a, fiddle up.
Yeah, it doesn't take, just like a door of some sort.
Yeah.
No
For
drawers.
a boat like this, it's amazing space.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The whole wall is just like that's all your big tools done.
Yeah, I know.
And then you've got all your mechanical
So why don't we try and get it as low as we can, because you can't really use underneath. So if we have it high, we've wasted a lot of space. Whereas we have it low, we can make this huge storage.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And maybe leave this sort of big and open, because then we can have spare things like crankshafts and big shit that is hard to keep. Yeah. There's going to be extra shafts and all sorts of stuff that we need that I don't know what.
The only issue I have with this shelf is that when you're at sea, everything will just fall around. Well, so we need to have some sort of.
I'm thinking of drilling holes in it and putting like some sort of strap arrangement. In fact, I could even bloody strap it to the ribs. I could go up high.
Maybe we should just drill some holes while we're here, because then you can just strap it.
Actually,
just run at the top.
They've all got holes at the top.
Hello.
Yeah. Good.
And we've been down here.
Yeah, it's a nice spot, eh?
Yeah. I love the bottom part of the boat. It feels really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just feels really lovely.
Do you know something funny? See the cable tray that runs around the engine room? When I put the cable tray in over there that goes across to the hydraulics, I didn't realise it, but I glued the cable tray in, and now I can't get the floorboard up. I need to cut the floorboard in pieces in order to get it out now. I can't get into the bilge, so I basically glued a cable tray over top of it.
Well done.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
There's got to be at least a couple of those every year.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Should we go on?
Come in here and have a look at this. Cut that corner off. That door can go hard up against the wall.
No way.
Yep. Look at that. It's only just clipping the corner. If I just cut that off here, we don't need it. It's not a structural thing.
No, but you need a door flat against the wall, because then you can pin it.
Yeah.
Oh, because when you're at sea and everything's moving, you don't want to hold your door.
Look at the shape of that. You could build a little hook of some sort, so that you could use the thing to hook it.
It's great.
So I don't think we can go significantly lower.
Okay. Oh, that looks amazing.
Yeah. Clear the junk out from underneath it.
So
next time. I don't think we can go significantly lower.
Ah, that is awesome.
Right down the bottom in the corner, you've got a seacock, which is easy enough. We can just get rid of that, blank that off. But the ribs have a 45 on them, and it's hitting on the back of the drawers. Unless we bring them out closer towards the engine. We've got the fuses and everything that Richard put in for the engine. Again, we have to make sure that we don't hit those. You can sort of see them up against the side of the.
So they're sitting on the ribs at the back?
Yeah.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
Well, we've got to either go up or we've got to bring it out. Yeah, one option we do have is, rather than try and drop the drawers down, what if we modify our battery system and we actually put the drawers up and over? Maybe even sit them on top of this. I'm thinking we might have to rejig some of this, because in a way it's not going to work anymore. Like the fuses down there, the hour meters down there, you're never going to be able to read any of those. You're always going to have to climb on your ass to get to the fuses.
Can that be done in the water?
Oh, 100%. Yep.
So the very practical part of me.
Yeah, you throw the boat in the bloody water.
Goes, shove these where they are and stop pissing around, and look, we'll bend down and look at that when we have to, and then when we're floating around in a lovely cove for 2 weeks,
we'll do it.
We'll redo it.
I don't want to have to rebuild a bracket for this. So why don't we make this where we're happy for it to stay, and then we'll modify that later. But what I'm thinking is the batteries, we can shift them over. I can put one on top of the other. We can make a narrower thing in here, and then this can come this way, away from that stainless box on the wall, and go a bit higher towards the stainless shelf above it.
Instead of making a bracket here, instead of making it right here, you hear it. I'm saying and I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like we hear what each other's saying.
It's like we're like cooperating or something.
In tune.
Except I'm smashing up your workspace.
Yeah, you didn't have to fucking be so aggressive about things. So I've got to move these batteries, and in typical Damien fashion, we need to over-engineer it. So obviously that means a slab of hardwood between the two batteries, and we just stick one on top of the other. So the issue we have, we've got two main batteries for our main engine. These are our start batteries. Now, they're just randomly stuck in here for now because we don't have proper shelving and everything built for them. So we have to build shelving for them, and they're not very space efficient the way that they're set up at the moment. So what I'm thinking is actually getting rid of this battery here, using this battery, pushing it hard over, because I've got maybe 4 or 5 inches over the back that we can move it over, and then building a bracket so that this second battery sits up on top up here, so it's sort of like a column of batteries. The beauty of doing that is it opens up a lot of space on the side here, which means we can have the aluminium drawers sit further over, which clears it from our cable trays, clears it from our distribution box over there, and basically makes the space in here a bit more efficient. We'll be able to get to the seacock that's in the corner if we ever need it, as opposed to building something over top of it.
I can remember a time when there were no batteries in here to start the motor, and I remember thinking, how on earth are we going to get to the point where we have two? And we've got two sitting there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing how it works, isn't it?
It is.
And you know, we're so close to launching, really, in the big scheme of things. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we're putting drawers in.
We're organising shelving so that shit doesn't fly everywhere when we launch.
When we launch, I know, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Nice, almost there. Yep. Lovely.
I'm going to lift this front. Can you put the wood in the right place?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Done.
Nice.
That's where we'll put the batteries.
Wow.
Cool.
Did you hear you creaking?
Yeah.
Creak. Alright, let's get on with it, eh?
Need to rock them over.
Something underneath it, don't we?
Something like that. Look how much room we've got on that box now.
Yeah. So why don't I just put my knees under and then you can measure ease.
Yeah. Adjustable height stands.
Okay. It's sort of tilting back.
It's because of that tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, we set the.
So you're going to cut the tag off, and so you're just going to drop it down that amount?
Yeah, maybe we just cut the tag off now. Right, let's go build that. I'm going to be building using this 50 by 50 by 3 stainless. So I'm going to essentially create a bracket that this aluminium drawer set drops into, and then the front edge is going to be upside down so that the drawers can open. And then I've got a piece of quite nice 50 by 25 by 3, I think that is, just a tube section, and then that's going to be our vertical supports underneath the whole frame. The trick is going to be where we join it in these corners here, mainly these back ones actually. We're going to have to do a pretty fancy little cut so that we can make it all one level and blend in lovely. what I have to do down in this corner, so this is the front edge, this piece of 50 by 50 angle actually doesn't sit the way that it's sitting now. It sits like that, sort of more like that than anything else, because we have to allow for the drawers to open. But I don't want to weld it underneath like it's sitting right now, so I've got to recess 3mm off this bit here so that I can raise this up 3mm and weld it in. By trimming that bit there, I'm able to make a join like that, so it overlaps it and it's completely flush. I realised I cut my stainless about 5mm too short, so I just cut up a little 5mm slice, I tacked it in, and then yeah, hammer it down, get it flat, and then I can take the whole thing back together. I'll take all the way, I just need you to guide it. Yeah. No, I don't want you to lift
Having discussions over who's done first.
No, I'll take the weight.
No, I do the weight.
No, you take the weight.
No, I do the weight.
Fuck you.
It's gonna fit. Now that we know it fits, Dane's just got to weld it up.
You can see some of them are pretty warm, just based on the colours and stuff. There's a wee bit of oxidation, but then they're pretty good. I'm happy with most of them. There you go. Close up. They've all come up pretty similar to that. Yeah, even the ones right down the back. Last bit to go in for the day. So piece of 50 by 25, or what's that, 2 inch by 1 inch by an 1/8 of an inch, 3mm for people that like to not use hieroglyphics. This is going to be a vertical strengthener for this end of the shelf. So you can see at the end here we basically cut it out, notched it over, welded it up and ground it off. I've done that so that I can get to the back so I can weld it properly. I could have just left it, you're never ever going to see this, but it's mainly because I wanted to have a really solid weld up there. This end just gets cut off square and butt welded to this vertical piece here. So get this bolted in, weld it up, put the shelves on, that's us for the day. Really like about getting these in and getting like shelving and storage and stuff like that in the engine bay is it prevents that from avalanching down onto us as we're working. There's only like so many avalanches you can have inside an engine room, 3, 4, 6, before you start thinking, you know, it'd be great if that didn't happen. So I'm really pleased that these drawers are in. I'm looking forward to getting some organisation going on in this engine room. The next job's for us, we're going to be getting into the kitchen. It's a lot bigger job than we first thought. We're going to have to do a lot more planning than what we thought, so we did delay it a week. However, Bruce, our commercial welder, has become available for a couple of jobs that we have on the boat. One of them is a bigger job than we first thought. We need to repair some corrosion in the side of the boat, so we're replacing a panel in the side of the hull and we're jamming that in before we get to the kitchen work. So yeah, a week's worth of work kind of getting jammed in within a couple of days.